All right, so it's a pleasant afternoon, everyone, and then I'm happy that we are on board today, knowing that today is a very special day for every one of us in Farmalert. We've talked so much, we've done so many master classes, and then today we are going to be having a bit of a success story. A bit of a success story. I'll provide a background quickly before I invite our guest up on stage to the screen. So a few weeks ago, we started up with this masterclass concept with the aim of strengthening the farmers and the animal health community. Animal health concerns are a big concern to us in Farmalert. So in one of those master classes, we held a series where we talked about how we can both strengthen disease diagnosis and support the animal health professional community. Fortunately for us, the consultant for that day, the person taking the master class, was Dr. Tumsiyya, and I realized that well, with her on board, we were able to go through the class. Having gone through the class, we now made a promise that we are willing in Farmalert to support somebody who has the basic structure in place to see that disease diagnosis can be strengthened across Africa. And we tasked her with the assignment of having to help us do this while we focus on some few aspects of what we do and what we do correctly. So today we are having the recipient of the or the recipient of the award or the recipient of the donation in our midst, and that's the person of Dr. Monday Ojemiri. Good afternoon, Dr. Monday. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir. We can see you and then we can hear you. Good afternoon, sir. Can you hear us? Dr. Monday. All right. Good afternoon, sir. We can see you. We can hear you. Can you see us? Can you hear us?
This thing is on here.
Yes, we can. We can. You can talk, doc. You can talk, sir. Can you hear us? Okay, looks like there's still something wrong with the setting. Sometimes some of this technology could be slightly funny. It's not just him alone we're having in today's masterclass. We are equally having Dr. Tumsiyya up on board also. So maybe let me quickly just welcome her. Welcome her.
It's on now.
Dr. Tumsiyya. Good afternoon.
Yes, I'm sorry. I don't know if it's the network or my device. I don't even know which is which. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear, Doc. Good afternoon. And welcome to this masterclass series again. Dr. Monday, we can see you, can hear you. Can you hear us? Dr. Monday. All right, I think he's still trying to battle with his own device.
Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear, of course.
Dr. Femi, can you still hear me?
Yes, of course, I can hear you loud and clear. So good afternoon and welcome back to another, this time not necessarily masterclass, but sharing the success of what we have done. All right, so maybe to just establish a context, so I want to first of all thank you. You were at the commissioning of the lab today, right?
Yes, I was. Yes, I was.
So how do you feel?
It was interesting, and I was amazed when I arrived at first. Like I felt, there was this thing I don't even know what word to use, and it was really exciting to be part of something this big. Because I thought it was, on a lighter mood, like it was just going to be us, giving, and then it was wow. So I was amazed. It was a good feeling, and I'm happy I'm happy to be part of, something, the success story. So I am happy to be part of it. Yes. Hopefully we'll see, we get to see more of things like this, support and collaboration to strengthen the disease diagnosis chain, So it's really a beautiful thing. Yes. The progressive one. Yes, yes,
Thank
yes.
you. We're glad to hear. Let me bring up Dr. Monday again, hoping that his network is good.
Okay.
Yes, Doctor. Yes, sir. Can you hear us? We can see you. We can hear you, Dr. Monday. Looks like we have to do something
It's
different. I think it's still struggling.
it's pro-
With
it's
this.
still
All right. So
bad.
maybe let's
Yeah.
let's pay attention to you, and then so the animal health industry, I believe, needs something like this, right? What would you think would be
Yes.
the significance of what happened today in the animal health community?
From I keep saying this over and over again. There are a lot of losses in this industry of ours, and most of these losses are tied to problems that are solvable, like in this day and age, problems that can be averted.
Monday or January also is back. Good afternoon, sir. It took us a little while to
Afternoon.
get your network up.
Sorry.
But we're glad you're up now. You
Thank
are
you.
the star of the day. So maybe you should walk us through your journey. Walk us through your journey. How long have you been practicing veterinary medicine? What led you into practicing veterinary medicine? Let's hear your story a little bit so that we can put it into context before we now start going into the lab issues and then the donations that was made. Go ahead, sir. Let's hear your story a bit.
Well, thank you very much. Monday Ojamia was many years ago a very small fellow, went through his own life journey, having been born precisely 61. And, we had our primary education right through to secondary. And somehow I got into the university at a time when the first set of veterinary students were being considered or were to be considered. And, somehow I just tell them, look, um, put my name among the veterinary students. Of course, there are some other interesting parts before then, but I just say put my name there. The truth was that there was hardly any course that I needed to read, that my qualifications were just simply there for any course in the sciences. And then so I took to veterinary medicine. I've always said this in many years back that one of the things that brought me very close to veterinary medicine was probably my father being a hunter. And then he goes to the bush hunting overnight, he comes home with game. And depending on the animals that came in, we children had the privilege of dealing with some of them, whether the zomo, the small ones, small antelope, and like that. So it was like applying the knowledge of dissection without necessarily knowing, or post-mortem, since they're all dead, without necessarily knowing that prepared for a journey of a lifetime. And then so I got into the veterinary medicine, happened to be one of the first students, or in the first set of students of veterinary medicine, University of Maiduguri. By 1982, we got in, and then the program ran through, finishing 1987. And then from there on, yes, I had the great desire to be in the classroom to lecture, and I think that everything that was needed for such an engagement was there. Of course, let me save you the headache as to why I didn't get in. Of course, I eventually took to private practice, after my NYC in Kaduna, incidentally together with Charles Ibe, we're in the same set. Professor Waziri, we all served together, a host of others. And that was in a poultry farm. There, after the NYC, I had a brief period of being recommended to join an Israeli team to establish a farm somewhere in Sokoto State then. That's sometime in 1989. And, after that program together with the Israeli company, I came back to set up my own private practice here in Abuja. And since then, we've been on. And then the story is up till today.
So,
Again, having started.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say we had the opportunity of being the first private practitioner here in FCT. Since we got started, we've not stopped till date. There may be some other people who did it at one time or the other, but we served full-fledged and well-known private practitioner here in FCT. We got located in Kubuwa, a little town that was not very much in the eyes of the authorities then, but that's where we could settle. And then we started the practice there, and till date we're there. Talking about me being star of today, let me just say you are one of those that made today, that made me the star of today. And I think as the discussion continues, it will be unfolded. Thank you, sir.
All right, so we want to thank you. It's an interesting journey that you've had, and then I really caught my attention was the fact that you are about the first private vet in Abuja, FCT, right? Did I get that correctly?
That's right. Yeah, very right. Very right.
That's a Nobel position. That's a Nobel position. All right. So how will you say? What do you think about the animal community you've been supporting for that long a period of time? What do you think would be their specific needs? Do you think a laboratory was necessary?
Look, the truth is this. Even through the course of our training in the university and up to, you cannot do without laboratory services. You can never. It's part of the training. And of course, the major importance of laboratory services is to give you the privilege to point directly at the cause of infection. The cause of infection. And once it is known, the diagnosis is carried out through laboratory services, then you can now appropriately apply the needed line of treatment. So once there is no laboratory services, I tell you, by and large, you are not better than those who go to what they call the native doctors, that they just look into your eyes and then to make some form of prescription without any assessment. So the work of the laboratory is very, very important.
All right. So to give us context around so would you attend to farmers, pet owners? Give us a context around the people, the farmers or the pet owners you deal with. Are they more of farms or are they more of pets?
Yeah. Well, it will interest you that since we started the practice here in Abuja, early 92, you just let me just paint this picture of an eyed man in the land of the blind. There was no, the FCT had its own veterinary services department, they had their staff, but here is a private practitioner who could be at your service at any point in time, without being directed by a superior officer. So to that extent, I had to attend to all species of animals, all of them, unless where I am not invited to attend to them or where they are not aware of my presence. But of course, it's a matter of time. So having said that, right from the early years up to now, I doubt if there is any segment of the veterinary practice that I have not been exposed to. For example, the large animals, horses, cattle, because at the early part we go, into the bush. I have this friend of mine who was then in the services of FCT, Dr. Edet Umar. He's now retired from there. He works with the government, and then there are clients who come to them. But as at that time, there are no enough, let's say, drugs and what have you on the part of the government. But for me, as a private practitioner, I had as much as I could lay my hands on, because I knew that, whatever I did gets translated into my source of income, and not just source of income by way of extension, care for those that I'm responsible for. So we go into the bush, attend to the Fulani people, carry out mass vaccinations. Attending to their horses. And of course, these are a group of people that they can't do without their pets, the dogs and the cats. And then, so you can imagine the wide range of species that I was dealing with as at that time. And in fact, I remember one cat was among, and nobody was interested in attending to cat. I said, look, cat is not anything. And then I went, and then we did, spaying in the cat. And that was within the Julius Berger community. And before long, I was known to have handled the cat successfully. And then there's this lady, I remember her, Elke Yak, and the wife of one of the engineers there. She literally from house introducing me to different people with pets. So the practice was that wide. And then somewhere along the line, I got introduced. There's this Dr. Sadiq. He is current. And he haven't finished from University of Maiduguri. Oh, I forgot to mention that. I give credit to University of Maiduguri. That's my, sincerely, in the first set. And that's story for another day if we can accommodate it today. What very wonderful set of lecturers who loved their own work, and then they imparted on us. So Dr. Sadiq got me introduced to the director of national parks, and that again opened the door of me attending to wild animals, within the parks. And that's why I had my own experience there. But as time goes on, that you have more and more younger vets coming into Abuja and establishing their practices. Honestly, I was so happy. Let me tell you why I was happy. You see, one of the most dangerous things that can ever happen to any practitioner is to be invited and you do not have the time to attend to them. And of course, Abuja was already growing. It was clear that the only private practitioner that was in Abuja, unless support comes by way of other younger vets coming in, it was going to be disastrous on my part. So I was very, very happy. So we have someone like, he's now a professor, Dr. Kadmos Ido, is of the University of Ibadan. He established his own practice, City Vet. And then people like my good friend, it will interest you, I call him Master, Dr. Bala. They came in, he was to City Vet, and then later he teamed up with Dr. Dan Anorwe, and then they got this vet ward established. The interesting thing about their own practice is that while Elmond Veterinary Services can be regarded as being situated in the suburb, of the city center, they broke the jinx, and then, of course, they're much braver, if you ask me. They came into the city center, and then they established Diaz. When I say city center, that's within Abuja metropolis. So they came in, and then gradually, we saw some other people coming in. Then Dr. Yila, immunity vet, and then we have Mark Ace. So they are coming up, and honestly, I am so grateful that we have them. One of the things that we should not forget is that age is a factor. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, we can hear you. But before you move to what we should not forget.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm echoing. Are there two devices?
Okay, I'm echoing. Are there two devices?
No. Only one with me.
All right. Okay, I think it's better now. So one of the key things I want to. Something's wrong. Let me just try and figure out this.
Let me just try and figure out this.
Okay. So I think we're good now. So one of the things I wanted to quickly bring up to speed, especially without losing the context of today's event.
Come again?
Just a moment. All right. So what Farmalert donated some equipment, some laboratory equipment. What do you think is the impact of this on what you're doing in Kubuwa, in Elmond Veterinary?
Unfortunately, the line is actually breaking. But I don't know if you can hear me.
So I can hear you. Can you hear me?
So I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So just the question again, very quickly, so that I can.
All right. So I said Farmalert donated some equipment. What do you think is the significance of having a lab in your practice?
Donated some equipment.
Yes, that's right.
What do you think is the significance of having a lab in your practice?
There are certain experiences that cannot easily be described. The excitement, the joy, the appreciation that has greeted the equipment that came in today. Incidentally, during the unveiling of to play with, those are some of the things I was using the early years of my practice, for field work in take blood. There was a time there was heavy infestation of trypanosomiasis in among the horse stable, the horses in Juliusberg, and then they didn't quite know why the animals were dying, where the horses were dying. So somewhere along the line, just when with this my microscope, I just put it there, take a blood, drop it on the slide, and then tilt the mirror, and then there I just see something, motility there. I say, look, this is trips, and straight I go. Of course, that was a kind of an improvement over and above not doing anything. But the consciousness of having a lab had always been there, and we have procured a few things. But I tell you, the donation by the Farmalert, incidentally, that the incubator and other things that they brought in, is so cardinal when it comes to diagnosis, particularly of microbiology in nature, where you do sensitivity and culture. It is so central. And you will agree with me that a great number of cases has bacterial as their source of infection. So once they are taken care of, the sky is simply an introduction to the limit. The sky cannot limit you. So we are extremely grateful. We are extremely grateful. And then also grateful to you in person and also to Farmalert for this one. Of course, the impact of that is that the community of, it will interest you that that singular donation has opened a great door, not just for Elmond Veterinary Services, but for the entire Buhari Area Council. All other labs that exist within the FCT are located within the metropolitan area. So I'm not sure there is any laboratory services in Abaji, none in Gwagwalada, none in Kwali, none in Kuje, none in Buhari, So it's a great opening. There are just about 2 labs or thereabout, or the 3 of them. They are all located within the city center or within Abuja Municipal. So to have it in Kubuwa that be covering, and we have a large number of young vets. This is the other side. If I have any desire to improve on that laboratory services, is to ensure that the younger vets have opportunity to carry out excellent diagnosis. And of course, that gets translated into good service delivery, even to the entire community. Now, there are situations whereby people, this issue of zoonotic diseases, if you have proper diagnosis, there are some people who could be saved from zoonotic diseases just because the bacteria and the antibiotic that needs to be used has just been discovered and treated accordingly. And of course, we also talk about, in recent time, we talk about AMR, this antimicrobial resistant issue. With that equipment that came in from Farmalert today, do you know the extent to which it will serve in the responsible use of antimicrobial? And incidentally, our organization, we started to, respect the proper use of antibiotics many years before this issue of, world celebration of it came. So we just discovered that we have been online. But I tell you, this of equipment will even add more to our commitment in good service delivery to our communities.
So for us, that's an interesting part. And of course, we're very proud of it. So now, what going forward? What would be your role in encouraging young vets? What we want to say to young vets in using the facility, especially those ones around Kubuwa?
Yes, thank you very much. You see, all along, I'm happy that you were there today. You see, I say it with every sense of humility. Right from the time I got in fact, I was shocked. There was an event that took place, and then Her Majesty, the President of the Council, AIG Dr. Aishetu Abakar Baju. I was shocked when she said that when they came in for NYSC, Elmond Veterinary Services was one of those places where they could just come and then pick up 1 or 2 items and get one support or the other. I remember very well our good friend, Dr. Dan Arnold and even Dr. Bal. They just simply come, oh, we need so. I beg, take and just go. When you go, just go and use it. If there's anything you bring back, just the unit cost of this product that you are taking. But you see, we have since gone over that. And then, like I said, the number of young vets that are being trained are on the increase. They need support. They need support by every means. So some of the support we have given over time included some decisions that I had to take that, look, because of these are younger vets that have come in good number, I, as the owner of Elmond Veterinary Services, I will not be involved in, for example, house call. Why? Because I start to imagine if it's just a way of saying, look, the younger vets, if house call is what can be of help to you, please go and attend to it. But for me, let me pull out so that a window of opportunity can be open to you. But having said that, it does not matter whether you are a young vet or you are an old vet. You need diagnostic, a means of diagnosing some cases, whether blood tests, bacteriology, and what have you. Of course, there are other areas that has to do with, just detecting the disease, whether it's there or not, the use of these test kits. All those ones we'll be doing. What does that translate to? By the time the young vets come, of course, we look forward to, by the time we do our pricing so that they will have a little more in their pocket. So it will now be a double advantage, being able to carry out diagnosis and then not just diagnosis, they're also able to have.
Looks like something is slightly wrong with his network. So again, today's success story is to just help us understand to what extent Farmalert has.
Encourage.
All right, so something is wrong with his network. It's always the issue here in Africa. But again, I think in the coming 1-2 years, Africa will work on its internet infrastructure. But this is just to state how far Farmalert has gone in helping the animal health community. Our goal now is to see how or figure out how we can offer more support to vets like Dr. Monday or Jeremy, who in his own right has contributed massively, really massively, to the animal health industry by serving farmers and ensuring that they have the best of veterinary services, which is a key issue, which is a really very big issue. Which is a really very big issue in Africa because we have quite a lot of farmers, right, having very little access. Okay, you're back, sir.
Yes, that's right.
All right. Good
So
to have you back.
we have this forum with Kubuwa where I have every month we meet at least once, where we use it to encourage them to continue in practice, and that there is a lot of there's a lot of good in veterinary practice. I share my own personal experiences with them, encourage them. If there are cases that they know our opinion can be of value, and then we just share. And to that extent, they will find it very, very useful. I tell you, they are excited about the coming in of this equipment and the laboratory services that is commencing. They are more excited than myself. And their own excitement has gotten translated into my own excitement too. And to that extent, we are so grateful to you.
Can you estimate how many vets you have around Kubuwa community?
Okay. We have this our own platform. I think that we don't have less than 50.
That's a really
are on that platform.
That's an extensive number.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Not less than 50. Recently I had the reason to be there was this project I was involved in. So I traveled to somewhere in the south. One of the young fellows that I met there, who was very useful to me, be one Dr. Jawara, and he said to me, I was looking at him. I said, "Oh, how are you? Who are you?" Like that. He said, with surprise that, "Oh, guy, you don't know me?" I said, "No." He said, that I served in Kubuwa. I served in FCT, and I was in Kubuwa Abato. You invite us to your place, and then you encourage us, and like that. Now I'm in the state service of this place that we will never forget. Apparently, while he was talking, there was another vet within their state government employment who was just simply looking. So it means this man that came has been of help to some other younger people. I mean, that gives me a lot of joy. And I can tell you, in fact, shortly before I came for this interview, our younger colleagues, they've already started doing some PCV there. I mean, you saw the brand new hematocrit center. They've already started doing it. We are so open, honestly, and felt it is to better the profession and better the lot of our younger vets.
So for us,
I just want to say.
For us in Farmalert, we are extremely very proud because we see that these things can ripple out. You have about an average of 50 vets in that community that don't have access to a lab. And citing this centrally in Kubuwa, we help them. More importantly, the ripple effects of this will also help the animal health community, especially farmers or pet owners who really deserve a better standard of disease diagnosis. So we're extremely very
That's right.
proud. And just to also restate that this is just the beginning, because we are going to be with Elmond Service until at least every small gap that we have in that lab is covered, and we ensure that that lab runs a
Yes,
hundred percent to is put in use 100%. So we have Dr. Tumsiyya. I'm just going to quickly bring in our consultant for this project, Dr. Tumsiyya.
Good
that's
afternoon.
right.
All right, good afternoon. So you've been with us through the entire process, from the masterclass to the presentation of the lab equipment, and then, of course, to this success story. So how do you feel?
As I stated earlier, it's coming, to the donation to Elmond Veterinary Clinic this morning. I was overwhelmed. The community support from the private veterinarians at private veterinarians in Kubuwa. It was massive. It was a beautiful thing, and I just hope that the effort they put to rally around him during this process, like they're able to support him, in terms of
Your voice is
not
slightly.
necessarily, when we have this thing where I still feel there's this huge gap within the veterinary community, where you expect some form of support and patronage from, forget about the financial implications, whether they're patronizing you in terms of increasing your income or what have you not, but then there's just this low from my experience, the support from our fellow colleagues is really low. So I just hope the way they came out today, it was beautiful. I was overwhelmed. And uh, hopefully, this is the beginning of better things to come for the veterinary community, and we're just going to make sure that this is not just the end of it. We're going to make sure this lab is used to its fullest potential to help the Kubuwa community and Nigeria at large. So, Elmond Veterinary Services, congratulations. Farmalert, thank you so much for your unflinching. Looking forward to more collaborations and more support for the progress of our dear profession. So, that's it.
All right, so thank you, Dr. Tumsiyya. Dr. Monday is joining us again. So I wanted to ask you before you leave. So do you think this effort we're making will really strengthen the animal health sector, the disease diagnosis part of it? How can you quantify
Yes,
the impact?
with what I saw today, diagnosis used to be around Kubuwa. This, when we talk about laboratory engagement, people start going, because of the present technology, people start going to, as far as thinking about ELISA, PCR.
Okay, looks like your network is slightly filtering. Okay, so maybe let's go back to you, Dr. Monday.
Hello?
Okay, Doc, can you hear us? All right, so network again. So in an attempt to start rounding up, Dr. Monday, so we're happy for you. And then, as we said, this is going to be like an ongoing project to ensure that you have the best of labs, at least that can effectively, minimally serve the animal health communities, the farmers, and then the pet owners in Kubuwa. We are also very excited, and this excites me also, that it's not just going to be for you, that an average of 30 to 50 vets in Kubuwa community will also have the opportunity to participate and use this device. So if you have an opportunity to talk to farmers, what we want to say to farmers and pet owners, about the improved service you now have in Elmond Veterinary. Dr. Monday. All right, Dr. Monday, you want to say something? Okay, so I think Dr. Tumsiyya is back. Let's bring her up again. Doc, can you hear us?
Yeah, my sincere apologies. I don't know what's going on today. I don't know if
Okay,
it's network,
network. I
but it
get
seems
that.
everything is working against me today.
except the lab we
Yes,
commissioned.
this is very okay.
All right,
But
Dr.
I'm
Monday.
surprised.
Dr. Monday, we can
If
hear
it were in
you.
Kubuwa, it would have been more difficult.
Dr. Monday, we can hear you. All right, looks like it's a wonderful day for networks today. But again, of course, I think we are trying to celebrate the impact Farmalert is making in Kubuwa community, supporting Kubuwa community and equipping Elmond Veterinary with laboratory equipment to strengthen animal health. And then, of course, as I said initially, what's exciting about this whole thing is the fact that it's not just Elmond Veterinary that will be part of this huge progress or support in disease diagnosis, but more importantly, vets, young vets around Kuba community, an average of 30 to 50 vets can also make use of the facilities. That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal to ensure that an average farmer, an average pet owner have the best of service. And these, honestly, in Farmalert, we're extremely very proud of. We like what has happened. Hello, Dr. Monday, can you hear us now? You're back. You're back. Hello, Dr. Monday.
I can hear you now.
All right, fantastic. So, as a way of rounding up, sir, we want to hear you pledge your commitment to animal health. Having received this donation, we know that that's how long have you been practicing, sir? You didn't share that. You only said you started around 1990. How long? How long
Well,
have
if
you?
you say practice, yeah, since graduation, 1987, because
That's
right through the
whoa.
end went into farm, but
That.
was in 1993. Officially, if you are going to say it was in 1993, been in practice.
Mm. That means you've been if you graduated 1987, that's over officially over 30 years that you've been in practice. That's phenomenal. And then now
Yes, that's right.
fortunately you're getting this, and so we want to hear your final word, and then of course your pledge to the animal health community that these will be used for the upliftment of farmers and pet owners, and then for animal health professionals like the veterinarians.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. Let me quickly say this. Let me encourage the younger vets
Exactly.
that let them keep pushing on.
Mm.
It's very, very important. If you recall, privately, I shared with you that if someone has a number of years behind him in practice, there are certain things that are expected to be associated with him, including even this wonderful gift that came in today. By now, you would have thought that, oh, Elmond would have had a fantastic first class laboratory. Yes, it is easy to assume, but life may not entirely be practice, 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 and using the money to practice. You have other things to do. But then, having said that, up till now, if I am not ashamed of listening to or being part of the masterclass, a place where you will feel that many of the younger vets would have been part and parcel of, but they are not attending to it. If you recall, sir,
Yeah.
I said to you that, look, yes, I am interested, but please, it is on one condition. I said, should you find another vet, certainly younger than me in terms of practice or any other criteria, but that is good enough and found suitable for that donation, please, I should cede it to that fellow. If you remember this, what I
Yes,
said.
I do, of course.
So I now threw in my Very good. And that tells you that even though I think that I will be needing it, but I feel that the younger vets should be needing it the more. You see, so we momentarily pretend as if the longer we stay on earth, the longer we are going to stay on earth. But the truth is, we expect that the young should stay even longer than we have stayed. You know, what I mean by that is, at this stage, I expect that the younger professionals, our younger colleagues, should take maximum advantage of this, the establishment of this laboratory. For example, if it is what life needs to provide for, or what we need for life existence, God has provided those ones for me. Anything that any younger vet needs in life, whatever life would give, mainly material things, God has provided. But yet, this is my first love, the profession. And as I continue, I will continue to be within this profession until it pleases God that life comes to an end. So, but I want to encourage the younger vets, please do not neglect any opportunity that may open up to you to be part of it. So you do not know what will come your way. If I had not listened to the masterclass, the journey that culminated into that donation today could never have come, because in the first instance, I could never have been able to hear about it because I was not part of the masterclass. Then if you do not hear, how can I translate whatever I did not hear? How can I translate it into action? Number one is that if I were not part of the masterclass, automatically I'm disqualified. I'm not qualified. So these are some of the things. When you see I attend the association meetings and things like that, I could feel that I'm too big to, most of the people there, they are not my age contemporary. No, the profession makes us equal. There is something about the profession that we all hold on to. So I'd like to encourage the younger vets to do so. Having said that, of course, sincerely from my heart, pledge to make use of these contributions maximally to the benefit of farmers and for the growth and development of our profession. This I make upon my honor. Thank you, sir.
This is very heartwarming, sir. And today is one of those
Thank you.
days one feel like sometimes you feel like you're just one person in the world trying to make things work. At some other days you feel like a very big sense of purpose, because I can imagine we have livestock populations in the millions, we have pet owners in the millions, and then we also have veterinarians in the tens of thousands scattered around, veterinarians, veterinarians. But again, in the 21st century, there are certain things that needs to be in place to enhance disease diagnosis. And to have today happen and have our contributions being acknowledged, it might be like a drop in an ocean, but we know that the ripple effects will go far and wide. And on behalf of the team, the masterclass team, and of
That's
course
right.
Farmalert, we want to thank you for receiving the gift, and we also want to thank you for making the pledge that you're going to use it to grow the animal health community, and then of course grow and help farmers better what they do and pet owners without calling the exhaustive list of people who own animals. So we want to thank you, sir. And we know that
Thank
this will
you.
just be the beginning of good things to come on behalf of our farmer. We will keep in touch. We will ensure that at least for
Thank you.
every little each, as we said earlier, is being quickly covered so that the lab can be up and running the best and most optimal way possible. Thank you
Thank you.
so very much. And then to every one of us listening, of course, today while leaving Dr. Monday's place, we also thought that it would be good to have one of these donations in the west and then another one in the east, one in the west, one in the east. So again, we're also calling on our consultant, Dr. Tumsiyya, as she will be the one responsible for helping us go through this, and then ensuring that we have the likes of Dr. Monday, one in the east and the one in the west. We are going to be throwing out the avenue for you to reach out to Dr. Tumsiyya, and then to see how we can both strengthen the vet community, and then of course farmers and pet owners. Thank you so very much to Dr. Monday. Thank you so very much. We will keep in touch,
We're
and
so
then we'll
grateful.
ensure that you're good to go at every point in time. Have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. God bless you, sir. All right.